and welcome to the video studio here at Fun Stampers Journey. I'm Kim Kesti, your creative director, and I'm super excited to be here today to present all the fun tips and techniques in this month's Bloom Box. We are in August, and our Bloom Box this month is called Backyard Blooms. Sounded like a tongue twister, didn't it? Backyard Blooms. Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna really love this kit this month. This is August again, like I said. And as we open our Bloom Box, we can find all the fun things inside, starting with, of course, our Bloom Box booklet. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be all full of bees today, I have a feeling. So that, of course, includes all your directions, your supply lists, your wonderful full color photos, so we'll be referring to that later. And of course, you have your full size stamp set. So again, this is called Backyard Blooms. Absolutely love it. It's got all the full-size, deeply etched red rubber. It's got all the amazing indexing on it. Loving it. So much fun. This seems like it's really just one large stamp, but when you really start diving into it, there's 9 stamps in this set. So you've got 3 amazing sentiments, the large floral, plus all the fun little accessory pieces. So we're gonna have so much fun with that. So awesome. And then of course you've got all your card kits. So we're just gonna dive into this and start playing. Does that sound like fun? I think so. This month's Bloom Box has kind of a fun combination of a little more technique-y things and some more simple cards. So I think it's the perfect balance on that, hot summer month when you're gonna be playing with this Bloom Box, whether you're getting together with your friends or just doing it on your own. I love that it has kind of those quick and easy cards and then ones that show you, maybe a new technique that you haven't tried yet. So let's start with this top kit and just dive right in. Like I said, the first couple cards are fairly easy, so I'm just gonna kind of walk you through and share a few little extra tips on how to create them easily. Love this one, because this has this panel that's already been embossed with our Bright Days embossing folder. Let's see if I can tip it right for the camera and we get some of that embossing on there. Oh, there we go! Roy is amazing with his camera work. So there we've got that fun embossing, and that just adds that fun little texture for the background of your card. So we're gonna set that aside and just do a little bit of stamping first. This one whipped cream panel that you have in here, we're just gonna kind of do some stamping around the edge of it. So this becomes a kind of a frame to frame up our sentiment. So let's take our largest stamp. Like I said, just love this one. Got so many fun possibilities. We'll grab our first ink, which happens to be Lavender Fusion, which of course matches the base of our card. And then we're gonna just ink up this whole guy. We're gonna be stamping, like I said, off the panel. So you still wanna ink up your stamp all the way. Just have a scrap paper or your grid paper underneath. So when you stamp off, it doesn't get on your table, of course. So this first one, we want the majority of the bloom to be popping out here. Let's see, you can kind of angle it any way you want, but I want to get about a good 3/4 of that bloom on my panel. Again, making sure that ink is all in there. So see, pretty, our extras on the grid paper. Super fun. And then I'm going to wipe it down a little bit, and I want to get one more impression at the top here. This time I'm going to use Lemon Drop. Isn't this a fun color combination in this box this month? It really does remind me of summer. All those beautiful shades of plum and purple and berry. So this time we're going to kind of turn our stamp, and again, you can do any way you want, whatever tickles your fancy. I think I'll spin it this way a little bit. So we want some lemon drop up here in the other corner. So super fun. Got some lemon drop peeking in. I tried to say yellow drop, that wasn't quite right. Okay, now for the rest of the panel, we're going to take some of our smaller stamps. So we're going to grab, maybe our smaller bloom, grab our little daisy, maybe even the little daisy. So all these fun accessory stamps is what kind of comes into play here. So you can use any of your other colors to kind of decorate around the edge here. I'm going to grab Sweet Berry, do a couple of sweet berries, maybe one over here, and then I'm going to grab the little daisies again with lemon drop and pop a few of those on there. So again, sweet, simple, super easy to come in and just add your little blooms. We're leaving a little blank spot here in the middle because that's where our sentiment's going to go. So if you want to add more blooms, that's totally fine. The sentiment is stamped in black. I'll do that next, just to kind of show how it goes right on this panel. The sentiment we're going to use is Thanks a Bunch. So sweet, right? It's a bunch of flowers, so it totally makes sense. I love it when stamp sentiments make sense, don't you? That's the best. So again, inking it up with black licorice, and then our Thanks a Bunch is just going to go right in that somewhat empty spot there. If it overlaps some of your flowers, that's totally fine. You know, however you want it to look. Just a fun and easy way to create that card panel. So the rest of assembling this card is really easy. You've got a couple little accessory pieces, including this pre-cut die right here. This you're going to want to trim down a little bit, shorten your branches. Again, it can be as much or as little as you want. Let me trim a couple away here. If you want less branches, you can totally go for it. If you want a few more. And then the last thing to do is stamp some little accent flowers on your lemon drop. So this time you can come back in with your black licorice. I won't stamp them all out for you because it's really just stamping them in black, fussy cutting them around. And then this layers up on our embossed piece. And let me share the finished card. Once you've got it all assembled with your foam squares, it will most likely look something like this. So again, super fun. You can see how the stamping on my original card is a little bit different. I used the Lavender Fusion over here a second time. But again, no right or wrong. Make it any way you want. These guys are just fussy cut. And then we did add a few little drops of glaze there. You can add silk if you want. We had a fun little guest star during our FSJ Live. We had Reagan and Nicole working on this bloom box together. And Reagan decided she thinks this card needed a little sparkle silk. So although it's not on the original supply list, she did put a little sparkle silk on this card, and I think it looks so cute. See the sparkle silk? So fun. So if you have that, you can add it, or you can use the bubblegum silk, which is on the supply list for this card. So either way, super fun, super cute. Like I said, quick and easy card. You could finish that one up in no time at all. Let's talk about our second card kit. So this is the one that's got the sweet berry background. This time we're going to do a little embossing with our white embossing powder. And most of you are familiar with this. I'm just going to stamp it out and show you how to sprinkle the powder. It's really not going to be anything super technique-y unless you've never actually done this before. So I'm grabbing my clear pigment ink. We have so many new Bloom Box subscribers every month that I think it's kind of fun to go back to these tried and true techniques that are really fun and really make a huge impact. So this time we're just going basically right in the center of our orange creamsicle card base. Again, this is with the clear pigment. This is what we call sticky ink. So you can't see a ton of an impression. You can see a little bit of a watermark there. But then what I'm going to do is grab my embossing tray, which we actually call our media tray. So it's this little guy that has these little dividers. But if you take the dividers out, it is the perfect embossing tray. So I put my panel inside. I'm going to sprinkle my white embossing powder. Because I'm sprinkling it in this tray, it's going to catch all the excess. It's just perfect. So again, kind of want to shake it around a little bit. I'm pretty generous with powder because I know I can dump it right back in the bucket. So there we go. We've got all the powder. Now all you need to do is come back with your heat tool. We have an amazing Journey heat tool, and melt that embossing powder, and it turns all lovely and shiny and yummy. I'll set that aside because I have mine already done, of course. But I do want to share one more little element on this card that I think makes it so fun. And that's a die cut that you have in your kit that's called the baby envelope. And it's so cute. Look, it's just a little tiny baby. I love it. So we already have this, and it is a die that's available in our catalog, but we wanted to send you a little sample just so you could have fun with it. And it's super simple. It just has 4 score lines that you fold. And of course, once you do, it creates a darling, darling little baby envelope. You can either attach this shut for a project, or in the case of this card, we're going to want to leave one flap open because we want a couple of our little blooms sprinkling out. So you just need just a little tiny bit of, I guess I'll use our craft glue. I'm just going to put a little bit here and a little bit on each flap. And then again. You only have to hold it for a few seconds until this gets adhered really well. The craft glue is perfect for paper-to-paper contact. I just love it. So again, you have some washi tape. You have this little extra scrap of sweet berry that you can stamp some more flowers. Let's go ahead and bring a couple of our little flowers. Again, you're going to want to stamp this on here with, no, not sweet berry, cranberry bliss. So once we stamp these, it becomes a fun tone-on-tone. Maybe I'll just do one real quick. I love the cranberry on the sweet berry because it's like the perfect complement. See how that pops out? Love it. So you need 3 stamped on that piece, which again, you're gonna come back and fussy cut. I won't spend all the time doing that right now. But let me go ahead and bring the finished card in because I think you will love it. So here we go. You can see that we've embossed, again, heat embossed the white flower in the background. Super simple, but super fun. Stamp the sentiment again in black licorice, just fussy cut it out a little bit, and there's our 3 extra little flowers. We did put a little journey glaze. See the little accent of journey glaze there? And look how cute with one tucked in the envelope. I love it. So much fun on that little tiny baby paper clip to match. We did put some bubblegum silk on top. So just a little sprinkle of that finishes up that card beautifully. So again, super easy, a little bit of a step up with that technique, but super simple, super fun. Again, could finish that card in no time. So let's do card number 4. This one has maybe a little bit more technique because we're gonna have some coloring fun with this kit. So this is the one with our lemon drop card base. Of course, you've got all your little accents. You can set those aside. I'm gonna go ahead and stamp my single circle here. Make sure my stamp is clean. And this time we're going to do a little watercoloring. Oh gosh, I just grabbed the wrong one. I do not need clear this time. I need my black licorice back. All right, coming back to black licorice. You can go ahead and stamp this with a clear pigment and emboss it. It would be absolutely stunning if you did it with this same technique I'm going to share with you, which is using our color splash pencils. But for this particular card, we're going to go ahead and stamp it in black licorice. So I just want to make sure that the very tip of my flower is off the circle edge. So that gives my card a lot of fun movement. Other than that, no big secret to stamping this on the circle, but see how it's just slightly cut off the circle edge a little bit there? That just makes my flower seem like it's blooming and blooming and blooming and will never stop blooming. Love it. Okay, so now we're going to bring in our color splash pencils. And I do have a blending brush, which is just filled with plain water. And again, those of you who are familiar with coloring with our watercolor pencils, this will seem a little familiar to you, but if you are not, I'll just give you a couple of tips on how to color with them. We want to go ahead, the pencil colors are listed on your booklet, but of course you can use any color you want. I'm going to grab one of our lavenders. I'm going to grab kind of a berry color too. Let's grab this one. Comes out to be kind of a pinky berry color. So I'll grab 2 different pinks. So again, there's a couple different ways you can watercolor. I'm going to go ahead and make sure my brush has some water coming out. You can go ahead and hold your pencil close to your clear block or clear view sheet or whatever you have, and just go ahead and pull color right off the end of the pencil. So you can see it doesn't take long to go ahead and kind of activate that watercolor that's in the pencil barrel. And pretty soon you have a nice little pile of fun color here. You can add a little bit more water depending on how light you want it to be. And then you just come back in with really fun loose strokes and just color that flower right in. I'm not necessarily trying to keep in the lines, I'm just trying to give a really fun light watercolor effect. I'll do both of my large blooms in the lavender. So super fun, leaving some white showing, totally fine. You can come in with a little bit darker lavender if you want, and in this case I would pull it directly from the pencil and not necessarily go with my block. And I can go in the center of the flowers and add a little bit darker shading, right? Does that make sense? So, a little bit darker right in the middle of my flowers. That gives a fun shading. So super simple, super easy. I'm gonna switch colors because I want to show you one more fun little trick with a berry color. I love the pens because you can just squeeze the water and it just like kind of self-cleans these blending brushes. I love it. So I'm going to pull color off 2 pencils and just kind of blend them together. Again, it's just that really pretty berry color. Love it. So after I go ahead and color some of my flowers in, I'm going to color these little buds. I'm going to show you how I finish the circle because once I was done coloring, so say I was done with all my flowers, I just come in with this guy and I add a little bit more water than I normally would do. Really kind of thin it down. And then I almost use this as a little like splash for my panel. So I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna flick some water right on the edges of my panel. Okay, so sort of the same flicking motion you would do with the silk, but it's a little more watery. And of course you can do it any color you want to match the project that you're currently working on. So super quick, super easy, just a fun little way to add that little watercolor splash so it looks like your flowers maybe just got rained on or they've got just a little bit of dew on them or whatever the case may be. But do you want to see the finished card? It's so cute. Let's move my panel aside. So you can see that we've stamped the background again with that fun little accent flower. And then the watercolor effect is just like really go to town. Just pick your own colors, make it your own. And again, see how the pencil is splashed? So it just gives that fun little extra dewy effect. Adding the ribbon and stuff is that fun extra final touch. So super cute, card number 3. Love that one. So again, have a little fun with that watercolor technique. If you do not have watercolor pencils, you could use liquid colors to color them. You could use our regular, color burst pencils. You could even use silk to color them. Did you know you could use silk? Just dab it on a block and pick it up with the blending brush, and you can use silk to color that too. So many ways to color. We love it. We love all of our fun coloring systems we have here at Fun Stampers Journey. Okay, I'm gonna tuck my pencils away. And this last card, if you saw my preview for the Bloom Box, I often do a little sneak peek early in the month to preview the Bloom Box, but I did admit that this last card was my favorite. So you guys wanna see? You wanna see? Of course you do. Okay, so it's the card kit with the Limeade Splash card base. You've got some cards, a larger card panel here that we're going to use first, and then all of our extra little accent pieces. Kind of set those guys aside. So this is a fun technique that seems super complicated, but it's absolutely not. So let me walk you through it. Clean up my stamp just a little bit here. Of course, if you have our Fun Stampers Journey stamp cleaner, it works the best to clean this guy up. I think we're okay here. So for this particular project, we're going to be using 2 of our liquid colors. I was just talking about liquid colors and using them for coloring. So in this case, we have Limeade Splash and Lemon Drop. And we're going to be applying the liquid color directly to the stamp. So a little bit different technique than I think I've shown you in the past. So I'll start with my Lemon Drop. I'm just going to come in, again, going directly to my ink, going directly to my rubber stamp. I'm going to kind of color in where I know these larger flowers are, and then I'll come in and touch a little bit on the buds, the little daisies. It's going to be a really soft, dreamy effect when we're done. So don't worry if these colors blend together. It's actually what you want. So I'm going to come in with the Limeade, and I'm just going to kind of go where I think the stems are. Well, I can see where some of them are, but a little bit of stem in here, maybe a little bit here. Again, really loose, No rhyme or reason. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now I'm gonna grab my medium mister, which just has plain water in it. And I am gonna hold my stamp up a little bit when I spray this, because I don't wanna spray it on my paper I have already. So kind of hold it up. And I would put about 3 or 4 squirts on there. You can see that the liquid colors are already kind of blending together on the rubber stamp. So I'm gonna get my paper ready. And I'm gonna stamp this twice. So I want my first one at the top half of my paper, okay? So about right there. You guys wanna see this? It's so pretty. I love it. Ooh, isn't that stunning? That looks like you just spent a couple hours watercoloring something. I can't even stand it, I love it so much. Okay, now there's a lot of color still left on this block, but I am just gonna go back. You could try to mist it and stamp it again using the remaining color, but I wanna make sure my color's vibrant, so I'm adding just a little bit more. I'm not worrying about going and covering the whole thing, but I am gonna add just a smidge more color. Again, experiment with some scrap papers, you know, to get the different looks you want. I can't wait to see how yours comes out. So again, coming back with I'll move this to the side a little bit, misting it again, 2 or 3 mists. This time I'm gonna spin my paper around because I'm gonna do the opposite kind of mirror impression of the flowers here. I don't care if this middle part overlaps with the stem because it's gonna be covered up. So I'm just flipping my stamp around and doing the same exact thing. Again, and lifting it up, and I just love it so much. Do you ever do that when you stamp something and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so good. I must be an expert stamper. That turned out so beautiful. You guys own it, be proud of it. You just made an amazing creation. I totally think you should love your own work. Absolutely adore that. So finishing this card is super simple. You're gonna wanna let it dry a little bit. You know, make sure it's real dry before you go back to adhere or anything. But let me show you one that I did earlier today that came out a little bit lighter. I think I like the one with a little bit more color. I don't know, it's hard to decide. You have a little bit more definition with this one I did earlier. So again, it's equally as pretty, just a little bit different. And then let me show you the finished card. And here is the original sample. So I think this one actually is probably a happy marriage between these 2 different ones. I love, love, love that it turns out different every single time. You guys are gonna have so much fun with this technique. So again, darling, darling card. I'm gonna bring in the others so you can see all 4 of them together. It is such a fun set of backyard blooms. Just makes me wanna get out there and spend some time in the beautiful outdoors. So, super love them. I know that you are gonna have so much fun with your August Bloom Box this month. And every month that the Bloom Box comes to you, if you are not already a subscriber, maybe you are buying this kit a la carte, think about becoming a subscriber. You just get that blast of creativity every month delivered right to your doorstep. It is so much fun. So if you need any additional help or you have any questions, definitely visit us at funstampersjourney.com and enjoy this month's Bloom Box.